isn't this a neat view out over Toreparu wetland? Maharu, you've been looking at how to restore this wetland. How do you go about such a big project?
Well, just starting small is really important. So if we just look at this particular arm of the wetland, one of the things that we're going to be doing is fencing off. That's important because otherwise you have stock basically walking in and squashing the plants and ruining the habitat for the birds and animals there. So that we're going to start off with that. Also keeps the goats out. We've got a bit of a feral goat problem here. And then the next priority is looking at pest control. So we have feral cats, stoats, rats, possums, and they all pose a problem to particularly the birds. Wetland birds are not the greatest flyers. They tend to just hop around the wetland. And as you can see, the vegetation's only about head high, so they have to nest quite low to the ground, which makes them a prime target for things like cats and stoats.
Yeah, and I guess you have to think about the whole ecosystem, and it's quite unique here. We've got the limestone, and I can see some native plants nestled in that rock, but I can also see lots of weeds. You must have to deal to some weeds.
Yeah, weeds are definitely a problem here as well, like most places around the country. Gorse is a big one, especially on farmland. But gorse can be left as a bit of a nursery plant too, so it only gets to a certain height and then the natives can actually grow up through the gorse, eventually shading it out, and then the gorse dies. So I think we're going to probably do a bit of a mixed approach and clear some areas of gorse and keep some areas as a bit of a nursery for those native plants growing back.
Awesome, it sounds like hard mahi, and you'd want to know whether you're being successful or not. So I guess you have to monitor your work and see what species are coming back. What species are you looking out for especially?
A really good indicator of wetland health is what kind of fish and what kinds of birds that you have. So especially when you're doing pest control, tracking the number of birds that you have within your wetland is a really important indicator to show whether you're killing enough of those pest species to make a difference. Also our native fish are quite impacted by water quality, so by doing surveys of native fish numbers and what kind of species you have is also a really good indicator on whether your wetland ecosystem is healthy or not.
Yeah, and that's something that you might like to try as well, and thinking about that whole ecosystem. And it's really cool, Maharu, just to be here and spend a bit of time, have a forage around, look around, see what you can find. A whole lot of biodiversity. Kia ora.
Kia ora.